So it's always a pleasure to be here, and it's nice to see so many people who come to this event regularly, and it's nice to see many of you who haven't been here before, and I hope you enjoy it and hear a few things that inspire you a bit. This evening is about the people who founded this organization, and it's about the people who've made the foundation succeed, and it's about the people who carry the torch for the future, and it's about everybody who loves Delaware. When the idea of a community foundation was first hatched in Cleveland in 1914, the goal was to create an organization that represented the whole city and distributed charitable resources from funds that were established there for poor children, families without homes, for better schools, for parks, for arts programs, and at the same time to provide leadership and partnership on the issues that matter. The idea took off. And by 1929, there were over 70 community foundations in the country. But the Depression came along and things kind of foundered for a little while, including a fledgling effort that was started in 1920 in Delaware. But in the 1980s, the Johnny Appleseed of community foundations, a man named Gene Struckhoff, approached Pierre DuPont III and said, "Isn't it time to create a community foundation in Delaware?" And that's all it took. Mr. DuPont got right to it, assembled leaders from across the state, and in 1986, the organization here was hatched. Here's what the first chair of DCF, Jack Quinlan of DuPont, said about the founding in the first annual report. In the early 1980s, public-spirited men and women from different walks of life recognized the need for this new kind of philanthropy organization in Delaware, one that could grow to meet the needs of future generations while acting as a long-term catalyst for community betterment. It's the very same sentiment that inspired the creation of the Cleveland Foundation 70 years earlier. And truthfully, it remains the goal today: meet the needs of today and the future and act as a catalyst for change to come. It took a couple years to pick up here, but with community leaders from banking, the legal community, DuPont, Hercules, Gannett, Wilmington Trust, and many others, funds were transferred, a director, Collis Townsend, was hired, and things were underway. In 1989, Governor Mike Castle endorsed a matching grant of $2 million to the foundation to start our grant making for real. He said it's a 2-to-1 match, and within about a year, we had $4.5 million. And on it went. When you leave here tonight, we're going to be giving you a book, and I'm going to tell you some of the stories of things that happened in those 40 years, and you can read about them later. The book captures those early years and importantly captures 40 stories that made the foundation what it is today. Because what we celebrate today and this year is the founding, but it's also the diversity of stories. We like to say we're at the intersection of generosity and community transformation, and for the past 40 years, that has taken many forms. It includes the almost $9 million DCF has awarded for capital needs for Delaware nonprofits, the metal awnings that ensure the West Side creative market artists can show their work in all kinds of weather, new technology systems, safety systems, HVAC systems in so many organizations. It takes the form of DCF holding endowments for 200 Delaware nonprofits and helping those organizations think about their long-term sustainability. It's the Fund for Women, which itself is 30 years old and has granted $4 million since its founding. It's ArtCo, established in 1993 to create a permanent source of endowed money from the state and various foundations to help ensure the future of the state's largest arts organizations. It's the many, many donor-advised funds that have broad and narrow focuses, but all of which help the state. Rod and Gina Ward's Riverview Works Fund, created with gifts of Speakman Company stock and dedicated to education and wellness and more. The Arsht Cannon Fund, established by the late Honorable Roxana Arsht, and for most of its time led by Adrienne Arsht and Dr. Christine Cannon, which has been the philanthropic leader in support of Latino communities in the state. One of the newer efforts is that created by Mike Koziski, who is supporting many of the core programs of DCF and has also established a series of scholarships supporting students from the alma maters of Mike and his late wife, Hannah. It's the Charles Allen Fund in Sussex County, created by the late Charles Allen and now led by his son Chick, supporting scores of issues in the southern part of the state. But beyond the stories of individual donor funds, this book also outlines some of the important initiatives established by DCF over the years, such as the Delaware Aging Network, established in the mid-2000s and supported by $400,000 from the DCF, which was a consortium of more than 35 agencies working to provide coordinated care for seniors in the state. The organization has closed since then, but the messages and the lessons that they learned in that are carried forward. Or the DCF Community Equity Project, a year-long intensive project to develop priorities on projects that could meaningfully move the needle in Wilmington and help ensure that all people can thrive and achieve their dreams. And of course, we all engaged in COVID with the United Way of Delaware, Delaware Alliance for Nonprofits, Philanthropy Delaware, and many others. DCF helped raise and then coordinated more than $5 million in grants to support nonprofits in those first couple years. In 1993, the first Delaware Parks Fund was created. Today, DCF holds funds on behalf of every single state park with a value of over $13.5 million, ensuring the parks has flexible money to make improvements and enhancements to our nationally recognized park system. And thanks to our colleagues from the parks who are here today. All of that work from the 1980s until today has played a part in strengthening Delaware communities, responding to needs, and providing a way for people to do good work. In fact, over our 40 years, DCF has awarded well over $500 million to 4,000 nonprofits in Delaware and elsewhere. Today, the DCF oversees $440 million in 1,000 funds, all of them helping Delawareans and people who love Delaware. In this fiscal year, which ends at the end of the month, DCF funds will have awarded close to $30 million in grants and over $1 million in scholarships. That scholarship number is the largest ever and comes from 88 different funds, and next year, I'm told, the number will grow again. This coming year, we'll be rolling out the second year of our Meet the Moment grant program, where we're responding to the needs of nonprofits as they navigate today's erratic and inconsistent federal funding streams. Through grants and trainings, we're supporting the work to build new models, new partnerships, and new capacity to keep doing good work. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. To me, this anniversary is a chance to remind ourselves of what has happened in the past and where we're going. All right, at these meetings, I often talk about eudaimonia. Those of you who've been here before will remember this. It's the Greek idea of a life well lived, a life of engagement, participation, and thriving. And in particular, I focus on the importance of service to others. It's an idea that resonates with me because at our core, everybody involved with DCF is a eudaimonist. Welcome, eudaimonists. The people who donate their resources to the DCF or other organizations to build stronger communities. The people who lead organizations that address the needs of our communities. The people who volunteer for DCF or others. The elected officials who commit themselves to building better futures for all of us. All of us are leading our best lives to make a best Delaware and better futures. In her comments, Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester emphasized the importance of youth philanthropy boards. And the almost 900 students who've participated in that program over the past 25 years would certainly agree. That's the future. And the members of Next Gen, young people who raise money to be distributed in their communities. Next Gen North has come back strongly in the past couple years and now includes a few dozen professionals who are showing their eudaimonic chops. NextGen has also, by the way, been the source of many of DCF's own leadership, including current board chair Shanta Wilkinson, former board chair Bill Dugdale, and current board members Alana Berry and Cindy Zabel. The future. So when you look at this book, you will also notice that there's a 41st story. It's the story truly of the future capacity of the organization, and it's the story of what we are calling the Now and Forever Fund. A couple of years ago, we privately launched a Delaware Now and Forever Fund to ensure that we could raise the money so the DCF of the future has more resources at hand to help Delaware communities, so that the next time there's a natural disaster or a critical need, DCF has more resources to deploy quickly to communities, so that in 20, 30, and 40 years, the people leading DCF will be well prepared for whatever comes. So that DCF can bring more resources to vital needs for youth, for the arts, for the environment, so that the volunteers of the future can continue to lead critical issues in the state, and it's something we can do now for the next generation of Delaware leaders. The campaign has been underway quietly for 2.5 years. Since then, since an initial commitment from Marilyn and Nathan Hayward, we have obtained commitments for tens of millions of dollars in the future, for the future of DCF. You can see the list of founding donors on one of the boards somewhere in the room. And over the next year, we're going to be talking more publicly about the campaign so that anybody can be part of establishing this legacy that will be with us forever. Because the DCF is Delaware's community foundation. It's not the foundation of one person or one family or one company. It's the foundation of everybody in Delaware who cares about Delaware. It's about all of us. The stories you're going to see in the book tell the story loudly that DCF is about the goals of all parts of our community. And as this fund grows, more people can be helped with new and challenging needs. I hope you will consider joining the campaign. There's a QR code on the table where you can learn more. And if you do, you get one of these cool pins. I've got the only one right now, but it says, I'm a member of that campaign. So in closing, at this gathering, we thank the people who've decided it was time for Delaware to hatch its own community foundation. To those who have committed resources to support the issues they care about, to the thousands of people over the years who volunteered for a grants committee, a scholarship committee, on the board as advisors to young people or in other ways, to the young people who bring their own new enthusiasm to philanthropy, and to everybody who is working in their own ways to make Delaware communities better and thriving. I believe in the value of community foundations. I believe that all of us have the power to do good and make change. Let's keep making more possible. And with that, I ask you all to raise your glass for a closing toast. And in the words of Abraham Lincoln, the best way to predict your future is to create it. Cheers.